Hello everyone, I'm Ace, and I used to be an officer in a hardcore raiding guild and a priest class lead, and today I'm gonna talk a little bit about how to heal in WoW hardcore for beginners. Let's get started. I only play Alliance, so I can't say much about shamans, but I'm gonna give you first a general overview about the classes that can heal in World of Warcraft Classic Hardcore, and then also for what type of purposes they're good as healers. So we're gonna start with the priest. The priest is a really great all-around healer. If you raid later on, you're mainly gonna be used for raid healing, but you're also good single target healer, and you have a lot of different tools that can keep yourself and the group alive. As a dwarf priest, for example, you also get Fear Ward, which is really useful in any level or in a lot of level 60 raids, for example, but also different dungeons. Then we have the paladin healers. Paladin healers are alliance only, but they have really great single target heals. They're like some of the best main tank or off tank healers for raiding, for example. And they're very straightforward, but also very survivable in hardcore in general if you level up in the open world, because you have lay on hands, you have bubble, and you also wear heavy armor, so that definitely helps with your survivability as well, right? Then we have the druid, who can be played by both alliance and horde. Druid healing is with a lot of heals over time, and because of that it's a little bit more tricky than healing with the priest or paladin, because you get better in healing with the druid the better you know the game and the dungeons ahead of you. So if you know that a boss deals a lot of damage and you can plan that ahead, you're gonna do really well with the druid. If you are maybe more in the situation, it can be easier to choose a priest or a paladin over a druid in that case. And then on horde side, you have shamans. Shamans are some of the best healers in the game. The only thing to be really careful about with a shaman is that you have the totems which can aggro mobs. So a lot of vibes happen because maybe the shaman forgot to manage their totem. So that's something to watch out for. Let's talk about some core things about how to heal in WoW Hardcore. You should downrank your heals. What does that mean? If you look at my action bars, I have, for example, my currently highest ranking healing touch, and then I have a 2 rank lower healing touch. I have my highest ranking regrowth, and I have a lower rank of regrowth. I have, if I leave cat form, I have the highest rank of rejuvenation, and I have a lower rank of it. So I basically have different versions of the heals that I have available, so that if I need to heal someone and they have maybe they're not completely, their health isn't as low as my heal would heal them, I can use a lower version of my heal so that I save up mana and I don't waste mana by overhealing them. Because that's something you want to try to avoid and train yourself early on to not overheal a lot, but to like time your heals so that you heal the perfect amount. And that's why you also want to downrank to be more mana efficient. Another thing that is important as a healer is that you are efficient with your dispels or dispel poison, dispel magic, stuff like that, whatever you have. Be fast with that, especially if it's on the tank. You want to, be immediately there to dispel it. Another thing is canceling heals that a lot of beginner healers don't know about. What is canceling heals? You basically start casting a heal. Let's say right now, Rax, that's Phobia. So Phobia is far away from us. He just joined the group with me, so I can show you some things. But if we would want to heal him, we would like cast a heal, and then you can interrupt the heal either by walking a little bit, by pressing escape. I usually do like a tiny walk. So if I would start casting the heal and I see like, oh, he's actually fine, he doesn't need it, I would cancel the heal so I don't waste mana and I don't overheal. Another important thing is you can see I have my threat meter right here. Right now we're not in combat, so it doesn't show, but if you're in combat, you want to watch the threat meter and you want to think ahead as a healer in hardcore and see who's going to be maybe ripping threat off the tank so that you can also start tree healing them if you have the space for that. Let's say there's a rogue that's about to pull threat. You can start casting a heal on the rogue or casting a heal on a mage or something like that. If you don't end up using it, you can cancel it. Another important thing that can get really annoying for groups is there are some healers that try to maximize their DPS, although their main role is healing. It's good if you do a little bit DPS in between if the situation allows it, but your priority is keeping the group alive. So always prioritize healing over trying to be up there on the DPS meters with the DPS. You're a healer. If you're not up there on the DPS meters, that's fine. Then let's say like the 3 golden rules of healing in hardcore. You are responsible for the life of your group. You, together with the tank, are leading the group. So if the tank is going too fast and you feel like you can't keep up with your heals, you gotta communicate that. Tell the tank like, hey, let's go a little bit slower, or tell the tank, hey, I need a little bit more time to drink. Also, don't be afraid to speak up if you realize that maybe a DPS is like over aggroing the whole time or pulling before the tank and you get like uncomfortable about that. Like, don't be afraid to speak up, because like it's important that you are able to manage the group's healing, and if there's something in the way of that that would prevent that, you can speak up about that, and it's your responsibility as a healer to do that, in my opinion, as well. Just don't be the person that tries to micromanage everyone else, right? Just like if there are extreme situations that you feel are dangerous, you should speak up. You're one of the leaders of that group, so to say, as a healer. Try to learn management of your mana early on. So if I cast a spell, you can see in my mana bar that my mana goes down. And then after 5 seconds, my mana will start regaining. So here you saw it started going up, right? So that's something that you want to keep in mind. It takes 5 seconds for you to start regaining mana again. So if you cast a heal, for example, and let's cast a few heals so that our mana is down, and you have to like cast healing, you could like do maybe like 2 attacks, or you just wait and then you start healing so that your heal's gonna go off while your mana recharges. You can also do like the cancel healing that we talked about before, so that not every heal goes off, so that you can save some mana but still keep the group safe. So let's say the tank or someone is like at low health, you can still use some heals and, you know, try to heal them and see when you would have to get the heal off and if you can restore some mana on the way. It's usually fine to let the tank get to half health, but if you run pack groups and you're a fresher healer, I would recommend trying to top the tank and the DPS as well off a little bit more, just to be on the safer side, that if something goes wrong, you're more prepared and you have a bigger margin for error. But if they're like more experienced healers, they're gonna let the tank probably go down to half health a lot of the times. Yeah, and the last 3rd golden rule, so to say, goes a little bit back to one of our first points, which is watch threat and focus on the tank. The most important thing in your group is that you and the tank are staying alive, because if the tank dies, the whole group might wipe. So try to keep the tank alive. If there's a DPS that is reckless and that rips threat all the time, and you have to decide you can only save one person, save the tank. This sounds hard, but like it's something that you have to like internalize, that like if you don't save the tank, you're gonna risk everyone wiping if you have to choose between a DPS and the tank of who to heal, and it's gonna be either or. Choose tank. Then let's talk about the user interface. In general, you should not click on, don't try to click on people and heal them. Don't do this and then heal. Like, you want to use raid style frames or party frames, and you want to usually like mouse over or click, like at the start, let's keep it simple. We can just say I'm going to show you also how to do it. You're going to change the party to like be shown like this, and then you can click on the people here in your party frames. You can also obviously move it. Some people like to have it here in the upper left, and then they click the people here. But this is how you want to target the people that you're healing. You don't want to manually click on them, but you want to, you know, keep it with the bars. So how do you do that? You go to your menu, to your options, and then you can search for class and say display class colors. This will help you recognize if there's a mage, you need to heal mages differently than you heal hunters, for example. Rogues, for example, often pull threat from the tank. It's easier for you to recognize which one is the tank or who's a warrior if you have these class colors enabled. So always enable them. Then as a healer, what you should enable too is display pets, so that you can see the pets. Maybe sometimes in dungeon, hunter's pet will be off tanking some mobs, so you gotta, you know, try to like keep the pet alive too. Obviously prioritize players always over pets, but it can be useful to keep an eye on that. Then I use raid style party frames, which gives you like more this type of party look instead of like the other one, so it's more easy to see whose life needs some healing. And then the last thing is, if you search for health, I would recommend to put health remaining, so that you can see how much health people have left. So this is the recommendations that I have. Oh yeah, and the last thing, display power bars, is also a good thing to have, so you can see the tank, how much rage he has, the rogues, how much energy, your mana bar in there as well. Obviously for a healer it's not 100% needed, but it's just good to have. What about leveling solo as a healer? It's hard to level up if you're a healer and you're mainly spec'd into healing. You can also heal dungeons while not being spec'd in healing, but if you're a beginner, I would recommend you to start healing in your healing spec. Maybe find a friend that you can duo in the open world with or things like that. And then at level 40, you can get dual spec and also get into a DPS spec if you want. But in general, you're going to do less DPS in the open world if you're spec'd into healing. But if you want to start healing and you're new to this, I would always recommend spec into healing and making sure that like you have more margin for error to learn and to make mistakes. Just some final tips. An add-on I would recommend everyone is classic heal prediction. It basically is very unintrusive, very basic. It just shows you in like green colors here in the raid frames how much healing someone's gonna get. So if it's gonna help, you know, reduce overhealing, but also coordinate heals if you maybe have like another class in your party that could off heal if needed. And it also helps the tanks, like everyone that also has that add-on, they can see your incoming heals, so the tanks and the DPS can know when they should pot. Besides that, you can see if you maybe want to get into Voodoo or into Healbot. Those are two big add-ons that both work very similarly and are meant to simplify the healing. So you basically, in these add-ons, for example, left click on a raid frame, and then that's going to use a certain heal that you assign, or you right click, or you shift and left click, or shift and right click, and can use certain heals very fast and very easy without having to have all the keybinds. So if that's something that interests you, it might be worth checking it out. And yeah, so maybe some final words. Hardcore healing is about discipline, about being focused, and about keeping your group alive. It's really important that you stay focused as a healer, that you basically never get distracted, but that you always have your focus. What is the tank doing? What are the DPS doing? Where is everyone? How is everyone positioned? What's going to happen next, that you think ahead? Remember to heal smart, manage your mana, respect threat from yourself, but also from the tanks. And then you basically have the basics together. If you have any other questions, feel free to let me know in the comments. And if you have anything to add, let me know as well. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment. And if you want to see more content like this or my hardcore live streams, you can also subscribe. I hope you have a great night. All the best. Bye bye.